What's going on, everybody? We are live. Welcome to the Hannibal's Hungry YouTube channel in a special edition of We did not think of a name yet. Damn it, Steve. We're supposed to come up with a name. It's initially it's called Beyond the Gigs, but we still talking about gig work and we haven't figured out the name. I think by the end of this episode, we're going to have a name. I know someone in the comments, they're way more creative than me and you, Steve. They're going to have a really good name. And the idea is that we want to present other forms of gig work that is beyond DoorDash, Uber Eats, all the big names that we all know. We want to let everyone know there's so many opportunities for gig work, for independent contracting, and all we need is a solid name, Steve.
Yeah, maybe it's how to get something to do with the pay, how to get paid better. How to,
like your next your next great gig.
Yeah,
The gig opportunity. I don't know. We'll figure something out. So throughout this show, we're going to keep asking, what should we name this? Again, it's about finding out other opportunities in gig work, other ways to become an independent contractor that is not just reliant on turning on DoorDash or Uber Eats or the apps that most people are using. So we'll come up with a really good name. We'll figure it out. We have a lot of creative people that are going to probably be in the chat. They're going to come with something really awesome. But in this edition, and we're doing this every 2 weeks. So in this edition, we're talking about the last mile and medical courier work, which is basically the same in terms of is last mile, is taking it to the last destination as you pick it up. So we're going to start with the apps. Then we're going to go into websites and stuff like that. So Steve, I know you want to talk about your Is this your favorite app of all the apps you use, or one? I know
it is. It is.
Okay.
I mean, like any app, it has. There's a couple like hiccups, but yeah, it's my favorite app for sure.
Interesting.
Well, it's the pay is uncomparable. I don't even have another app that comes close.
And he's talking about the Curry app. I noticed you didn't have any Curry apparel on, but it's fine. You represent, you talk about the app. You've brought me on, and I've used it. It's one of the very few apps that I use. Like I told everyone in my last live stream, I cannot dash now on DoorDash. DoorDash is still a big hitter in my market, but it's just too many people on it. Too many people who can deliver with their bikes and their scooters, but Curry is special in the fact that I'm able to use my car and maximize my SUV more than someone that only has a bike or electric scooter. So I still use Curry as often as I can. So to those who don't know what Curry is, tell us about it.
So Curry's last mile delivery services, I would say 90% of it, probably about 90% of it is construction. And actually probably even more, 90+%. You will run into a customer here or there and you're delivering something, but for the most part, you're going to construction sites. You're going to be dropping off with a foreman at a different location, but where like a whole new development might be being done. It's basically, and you might even go to the same site. You could go to the same site 3 times in a day because they just keep needing different things. And they're finding out as they bring more crew on and stuff. Okay, well, now we've got 3 extra. Like I've learned things like, okay, we've had a 4-man crew. Now we have 3 extra people coming on for the last 2 days of the week. Well, that increases how much gets done and how much they need on site for nails because now they have 3 more hands or 3 more sets of hands working on the site. And that can change the whole workflow. So, I mean, instead of sending somebody else on their team and really wasting time, not knowing where that person is, all that, it really is worth a lot of money to these construction companies to have these things delivered last minute. I mean, they'll pay way more than DoorDash for somebody delivering food or I don't know. It's just like, basically I look for very heavy pay. I get very heavy pay. I deliver a lot of paint. And I saw Freight is now doing Sherman-Williams paint too. So I'm keeping my eye on Freight too. But, that's the pain has been huge to me. Who knew that would be a thing that I would be doing?
I had a video a long time ago about Curry and saw some of the payouts that I was able to take advantage of, some that I couldn't. You showed me a good amount of. I didn't get to get all of those screenshots, but when you are dealing with a lot of the last mile delivery services, you are not. You're basically, because when we do fast food and we're doing the other types of stuff that we're doing in terms of the bigger apps, we are reliant on tips to
Yeah.
make it a worth our time, right? Like Steve, you hate Instacart. Why? Because the offers are so low, they're not worth it, right? That, unless they tip is heavy for you to decide I'm going to the next hour and a half I'm going to dedicate to being a personal shopper, it's not worth it. But with Curry, and what I like about it is the payout. Most of the payouts I've seen are respectable. They're not payouts that you just scoff compared to when you look at a DoorDash offer and you're looking like, how dare you put this offer onto my phone? Like, how dare you do? But you know what I mean? Like that kind of the offers seem reasonable. I don't know if that's a word we think, like reasonable offers that Curry gives you.
They are. And in fact, Curry has they've tried out this new thing with the round robin system. So part of selecting a Curry trip too is also very quickly examining, because you want to be in the queue for it, but realize that if you put yourself in the queue, you might get it. So, and it might not be as close to your house as you're looking for, as close to where you are. So I think it's super important to realize it doesn't work on a proximity spectrum like all these other apps. It's not going to show you an offer because you're near something. You could be as far away from it as you
very
could be
far,
in
yeah.
the city.
Yeah,
So it's very important you look at where not only where it's going, but where you're picking up.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll tell me to be in a different borough, going to a different state. I mean, it's a tri-state area, so it's not everything is pretty much close in proximity. It's about time. But yeah, if they put that offer out, it could be very far from you. Also, you have to calculate those miles, how much to get back. There was one that you showed me. I forgot if you had it, where it was a few $100s, but the miles was kind of it was quite a trip. So like you had to think, okay, is it worth me taking 4 or 5 hours out, getting paid, but then have to take those couple hours back? Is it worth it? So you have to really, you got to know your area. That's your market. You got to know your area. Like, is this worth me taking a couple hours of my day to get, I think it was like a $300, $400.
Yeah, and that's another thing with Curry too. So that I think you're talking about the one to Durango, which is like 6 hours from Denver.
Yeah,
and it was like $480 or something in the end. But what I did was, that would have been a great one-way thing. But I called Curry and asked them if they had anything leaving Durango the next day, anything coming back towards the front range. Didn't even have to come to Denver, just anything leaving Durango, because I have friends to stay with there, and they actually did. And so they actually hooked me up with that before it even ever came out. They gave me a price on the phone. They're like, yeah, we got a $220 to go to Colorado Springs. I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of a triangle, but it'll add an hour. I don't care. So yeah, I took that on top of it. So it was like, what, $700 for like,
nice.
18 hours of my time. And a part of that time I spent in Durango, spending the night and eating with friends and stuff. And so
making money, hanging out with friends. I mean, you can't complain, even if it was like 18 hours.
So even if I didn't have the friends there, though, and I was just turning around, I could have got a $59, $60. And I know those aren't everywhere. They're not in New York City. They're not in Denver either. But in towns like Durango, I could have found a $60 hotel room or something and just stayed for the night. And then in the morning, picked up that other payload, came back. So even without knowing people where that destination was, it was still worth it.
Nice. I didn't even say hi to the chat yet at all. Reviews and how-tos. What's up? Brian, John, McKillian, what's going on? Joe Batista, or Jose Batista. How you doing? And see Holly Camp and Mary Pia, the Driven Dad, all the regulars that coming through. Appreciate you guys for coming in. So again, we want to not say rewind, but we're still looking for a name for this series of what we're doing. Every 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about other gig opportunities, not talking about how to get on Top Dasher. We're not going to talk about that. You guys already know how to do that. What other things that you can apply for and make some good money as an independent contractor? Because in my opinion, I think Steve will agree with me, the current crop in terms of food delivery and rideshare is becoming so oversaturated that it's becoming the race to a bottom. It's becoming more and more difficult to make money. Now we have a movement of people saying you have to be a top dasher. Like for me, I cannot get on the markets that are worth my time because I'm not a top dasher. I can't dash now. I have to schedule. When you have to be a full time, if this was my full time gig, I couldn't rely on the scheduling. I would have to be a top dasher. Like if I needed this to pay my bills, take care of my son, I couldn't worry about, well, I'll get a alarm clock and wait until 3 o'clock for an app that's not the most stable to get a schedule if I need to pay rent. So, that's reality here. So there's other opportunities that we can use where we can still make pretty good money. And because most people, I think everyone in this chat, they will take the opportunity to check out a website or to do some Google search or watch some videos and learn about Courier or other types of apps that there's not millions of dollars on marketing to grab you to apply compared to what DoorDash and Uber Eats does. Most people are going to just avoid that and just look it up or, just turn on an app. That's what they're going to do. To separate yourselves, check out these resources, check out these apps that most people don't know. When you walk up to a random person, they may not have any idea what the curry app is. They may think it's food. Like curry? Like, no, this is an app where I can make some really serious money. So that's the reason. That's the reason why we're doing this twice a month. And yeah, if we can come up with a really cool name, that'll be awesome. And but you said, Steve, Curry, what's the other app you just mentioned? I may put this up on the screen.
Which one? Freight or VHO?
Look at Freight right now. I think I have that on my screen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's not available at my area, but what is Freight? Is this something similar to Curry?
Yeah, it's like Curry, and even the pay seems about the same. I just never get. In my market, I never get as near as many freight offers. I mean, it's not even in the same ballpark. I don't get near as many freight offers as I do Curry.
Oh, Driven Dad said Beyond the Algorithm. I like that one. That's nice. He also mentioned my other name, Uber Black, but I don't want to get Uber to bother me with any kind of copyright stuff. Pedro says Beyond the Normal Trash. The word trash is funny to me. I don't know why. Like the word of just saying I don't know. I'm a be your own app. I like that one. But yeah, Beyond the Algorithm. Yeah. I mean, even Curry is still dealing with the algorithm, right? Like
it could be the algorithm to money. You guys are following the wrong one.
Yeah. Brian says his van is too old for freight. Really? Was it the freight was the one I saw the qualifications? I thought you just need a something.
No, that was Bungie.
Oh, it was Bungie. I'm sorry. So yeah, freight. Yeah. Russ said start your own delivery business. Wow, interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't think
freight can be anything too. And again, the bigger the car you have, the better, obviously. But I mean, like freight. What is it? Mothership, and VHO and Curry all allow you to have any size car. Will you have a ton of business in your market? I don't know. You'll have to check them out. But like Hannibal said, like these are starting to get everywhere. Like even though he said this isn't in his market, one of them, they're growing quick because there's I don't know if everybody still recognizes this. There's still a huge supply chain problem in this country, and it's not solved yet. It's not under control.
Yeah, I would say the bigger the bigger market that you live in, the more likely that they'll accept cars, SUVs, everything. For Curry, you don't need a pickup truck or a van. You can use your car and use the SUV. A lot what they ask you to move it's stuff you can fit in a sedan. But if you want to make really good money, and this is something that some of you guys need to consider, that if you want to really take this delivery, independent contracting to the next level, you will need a pickup truck or a van. Now, you don't necessarily have to go out there and get 2023 van. I would say do not do that, right? Like do not, no matter what, do not do that. I think I was talking to another gig, basically a gig tuber, but he does more independent contracting, like use his van. I think one of his regrets was buying a new van or buying something that a little bit too expensive than what he was doing because he just started. So if you're just starting this new venture, yeah, I would say get a beater. Like, don't, let's say, go and grab the most expensive piece of equipment. If you don't have the contracts yet, you don't have the loads, you haven't negotiated anything, you don't have a schedule, maybe the best thing is to get something a little beat up to at least see what's going on, or use your normal car first until you get a feel of, okay, I have these apps, I have these websites, I have these vendors that I could work with, and you develop relationships. Then you go and you purchase a van, right?
Yeah. Or you can, you can look to these apps for other types of, there's so many endless ways, like even Courier. You can be a route driver. You can drive one of their trucks, and you're going to get paid for 8 hours, even if it takes you 4.
Yeah.
So, there's so many options, and the pay even on that is great. The pay is amazing. It's not your car. If you're comfortable driving a bigger truck, if you're comfortable with a 26-foot box truck.
Yeah. You're gonna make some money.
Yeah, that becomes part of it, though. Like you and I were talking about, Hannibal, there is more of you are more vested even when you're doing stuff in your car with these apps, and that's part of the higher pay too. Is they need things to get places quickly. They don't need screwing around. There isn't like unassigning an order or drop. It's like, you better go, hurry, get this, take it from A to B, get it done, and make sure that it gets into the right person's hands. So there's a little more follow through, I think, involved.
Right.
And the more money you want to make, the more involved you have to get.
Which is fine. I think many of us, who take pride in what they're doing and want to make some really good money, and they don't want, as much as I like that name for what the Driven Dad put up there, like beyond the algorithm. In certain apps, you still may have to deal with that, but you really are taking the bull by the horn, especially if you're investing in a vehicle. You are going to be like, this is your business when you drive it around and doing these loads. That if you do something terrible, or you're careless, or you're irresponsible, the chance of you getting another opportunity, in this kind of industry, is going to be low, especially if other vendors kind of know that you were either, again, not responsible or rude or disrespectful. They'll just find somebody else to do the work. So I think if you really want to put some effort in, you want to definitely take it to the next level and get that truck, get that box, get that pickup truck as possible. I'm gonna show you guys.
Even the pickup trucks you guys pay, like the pay difference from like an SUV like Hannibal and I have to a pickup is huge.
Big difference.
So like pickups are something you can go out and find, one that will hit the specs of a lot of these, because like we were seeing, there's some that are saying like 1997 for a truck. So the requirements are a lot lower when it's a truck too. So if you can get something that's, not completely dead, still has some life in it, and you can run it into the ground, I would say try that first.
And Kim, Side Money Plans, is here. Hello, how you doing? I know we're gonna be talking tomorrow about some door dashing, but she has a question. How do I buy a truck when I'm 5'2"? Well, there's a steps thing. I've seen that. I've seen people 5 feet going into one of these big trucks, so that's not going to be an issue.
Or like a van, get a Sprinter van.
Yeah. So the Bungee is another last mile service, but they're looking for something a little bigger than sedan and just a plain SUV.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gotta be strong, right? Gotta be able. We ask you able to lift and carry up to 125 pounds, because oak desks are heavy. Oh, they ain't playing around. How much you can move? You can move around 125 pounds, Steve?
Yeah. Okay. Again, it all comes down to the same thing for me. It's always money. Show me the money. Show me the money associated with it, because I know how to bust my tail and make money.
Yeah. So you can get it. You have to have a car 1997 and newer. I think that's reasonable. That's beyond reasonable. During transit, we prefer customers' items to stay in a truck, so a basic knowledge of how to strap and secure items is necessary. Drivers have 4 ratchet straps, 2 moving blankets, and a tarp. Right. So For Bungee, you need a pickup truck, cargo sprinter van, SUV with a trailer. Now, if you had one of those, you can make money because most us do not. Like we don't have. Most of us don't have that, right? Like you can jump in, and if this is a market that you are able to get into, you in already. If you have one of those 4 things, you're not competing. Now your competing pool compared to being on DoorDash or Instacart is drastically smaller now, right? There's a certain ceiling of how many people can be doing, pickups and drop offs at the same time. So if you had one of those 4 things, you can probably make some good money. Because I think Bungee, they do say that you make about $45 an hour. I think.
It says 45 or more.
Yeah. So right here, $45 an hour driving with Bungee. Probably because most people do not have what they're asking for, and also it's a little more physical. But again, like I agree with you, Steve. Is the money right? If the money's right, I'll move it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's never out of reach. I mean, if it's 125 pounds, yeah, you're gonna have to figure it out and whatnot. Like when I've done curry routes, I've taken much heavier stuff, but you have everything you need. You have a lift gate. You have, again, this is where all the stuff comes into play. I mean, do you use tie downs and ratchets? Have you ever played with them? Do you know how? Because I mean, really, it takes nothing more than just showing them you know how to do it at least.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of left to your own devices, and even if you haven't, you'll figure it out. But you just
$45 an hour, I will definitely figure it out and make sure it's secure and take it seriously. The last thing I'm gonna do is damage customers' items or embarrass myself with not connecting things properly. Like,
but if you don't have a pickup truck, like Viho is a great little it's like the Amazon Flex kind of. It pays 45 plus an hour. Here in Denver, it's like 45, $50 an hour, and you get like 2 to 3 hour little batches, and they'll be within literally 3 miles of each other. So you will spend 3 hours driving in a 3 mile radius, just dropping off little packages here and there, almost like a FedEx driver or something. But yeah, it's not Flex. It's not Amazon Flex, but it pays more, and it's just, I think people aren't signing up for these for whatever reason. People want to sign up for all the other apps. Like this one's Viho's an app. You download the app. This is an app that you should be signed up for.
Oh, I think this is for careers, but let me see. No, drive with us. That's what it should be. Registered to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just simply pick up packages from the warehouse and deliver them on the route you choose.
Yep. And I mean, everything shows up front. It'll say this is estimated to be 2.5 hours. You have 11 drops. It'll show you all 11 on a map. And it'll show you the total pay you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things. If you knock it out in 2 hours, but you've counted 2.5, you're going to see all your pay up front anyway.
Nice. So, I know Militant Technology makes sure that you're going. If he has to pick up 125 pounds, you want to make sure he's getting paid, which makes sense.
Well, yeah, that's what I said too, Gary. I said you got to pay me.
Gary got getting time for that. And Kim already come with ideas. She got a step ladder. I'm picturing her use a step get into her F 250 or something.
I mean, I do have to point out that we still haven't touched on the fact that exactly what are we talking about here? With curry, for me, I look at $5-6 a mile at least of what I do in my SUV, and I don't even have a truck. That's just me in my SUV. I don't know. I don't know how many other apps pay that well.
No, they don't. And the interesting thing about curry, and I think maybe this happens with other apps, but it is not as obvious, is when curry does put an offer, like you'll get a notification, and you're deciding, you kind of decide, you're still looking through it. You probably think, that may be too far for me. Within minutes, and this is my market, within minutes, the offer will increase.
Oh yeah,
and it will increase and very, very frequently. Like I know that's supposed to happen with other apps, but you don't know because the offers don't come back to you. Like they just it's kind of like an auction thing. It's like, hey, who wants to do it for $100? No takers? All right, 110. No takers? All right, and it'll to a point where someone does eventually take the offer. So
however, it kind of breaks the the thing Gary and I talk about sometimes about like there's always somebody to take an offer. The Curry people in mine,
No, I haven't. No, not Curry.
In Denver, yeah, they know. Like, I watch, like you said, you rarely ever see an order again. You'll never see an order again. But with Curry, you're going to see it a lot. So I might see it come through and go, oh, that's not even close. Every other Curry driver is doing the same thing as me. There's not a dumb one going, I'll take that.
No.
Like they literally are sitting there just like me going, nope, I'm not doing that. So you might see Curry increase like $100 in 15 minutes or $5 every 5 minutes. Sometimes they know their way off, and it catches up real quick though with the algorithm because the whole thing about Curry is that it's about very fast delivery too. Something that needs to be done right then so that the day can be ended by the crew.
Yeah, they need this item as fast as possible. They don't have time to let it sit there and wait. Like they need it done. They need someone capable to do it and who wants to do it. And if they're getting paid a fair wage, then they'll do it, right? Like, so it makes it very simple. But also, like you're saying, that the people who are on the app, these are seasoned, independent contractors, right? There's no, like, you probably have a newbie that may get caught taking an offer they probably shouldn't have. They should have waited. But the more you get into these elements, or like, I don't know if they call them higher rungs of independent contractors, especially with last mile delivery, you can't really trick or fool anyone. I'm sure your maps and the routes better than the average like newbie. So you're not gonna get caught taking something that you know wasn't valuable, it wasn't worth your time, compared to DoorDash, where again there's a lot of new people coming in, and for a while you could be realizing you're not making any money. But Curry, you're dealing with people who, again, like, that have vehicles that they're used for business. You're not gonna catch them slipping. If that makes any sense.
No. And there's something about coming on to Curry too that you just know. If you've been doing other gigs, for some reason you just know, okay, I need triple on this one, or you'll start seeing orders that coming through at way higher rates, and so you start doing a better math conversion of, okay, why is this so high? And you'll see. I mean, like, it involves a little work.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be no load, no unload, but half the time I do both. So
yeah, you're a helpful guy.
Yeah, but I mean, like, well, also, what are you going to do if you get somewhere and nobody's going to unload it, and they're just like, hey, I don't know.
Yeah, just get.
You do run into some places where they're like, I don't know, you're with who? Curry, and I'm bringing. Yeah, I don't know. That's the delivery spot there. I have no idea. They probably do too. I'm just saying that you will run into a lot of. You're going to have to do some work yourself.
Yeah. Does anyone have a refer? No, just hit the website. Do what you gotta do. None of this is. We have no affiliate links to any of the stuff that we be throwing out. We're just telling you.
Bungie's just off their website.
Yeah, just go to the website, and if you have something, I mean, we all complain about the gas price, and I can't even tell you how much money it probably costs to put gas in a pickup truck. But this is when you go and you get on Bungie and Curry, and you get these offers that's worth your time. You're not hurting as much compared to doing other stuff. So. Definitely.
Or if you have a pickup truck collecting dust, we were talking about that before we came on. That if you have a pickup truck and you use one of your cars for gig work, maybe it's time to consider that pickup truck.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Dispatch?
Dispatch, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't. I gotta check and see if that's even in my area. But I'm wondering what
I think Dispatch is pretty much everywhere too. Yeah. It's supposed to be like Curry again for my market. I signed up for Dispatch. I don't think I never fully engaged with it, but I've never had one. I don't even have the app anymore. I don't know if I ever did, in fact, but I did sign up for it at one point.
Yeah. So you guys can check that out. I want to pop out every kind of app.
I know the mothership carrier app is really building up quick though too. That one's becoming another Curry real quick.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say is that if you guys have tried Rodeo, and if you had all thought, well, Rodeo was, I wish Rodeo paid more, I'd do it. These are the roadies that pay more. Rodeo should pay more, but they don't.
So really what you're saying is, and I'm just reading what Dispatch, how does it work? A business to business delivery platform. So if I wanted to really make good money doing delivery work, I should really kind of focus more on a business to business delivery compared to doing with most of us kind of do, restaurant or something to the customer.
Yeah, to
Like
an
business
end
to business, they're
consumer.
going to pay you more money.
Oh yeah, because you're again, like in the case of paint. If I take 150 pounds of paint or 120 pounds of paint to a location at 1 p.m., that's so that that paint can be used that day by an entire crew. So do you now put the value in what that's worth, even getting it 6 miles to them?
So much paint.
They go have lunch or they do their lunch on site. As soon as they're done, I show up and they didn't even skip a beat and they've got what they need to finish out that day. That order just became worth so much money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because, again, like you said, people don't necessarily want to take one of their guys off, and who knows what unions and other regulations they may have. And you may not, I don't know. Like, it's always something, but then get someone else to do it and get out of the way. Like, why not?
Yep.
I'm not familiar with Rodeo. I mean, I'm familiar with, but I never jumped in. I know that's one of the companies that UPS picked up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the main problems I know about Rodeo is they'll assign it to vehicles that it doesn't fit in. And you'll get there and like Jason up in Idaho, Jason, he drives a Prius and he's been to, Walmart on a roadie where it's pick up a basketball hoop. And he's like, what? He's in a Prius.
Not going to fit.
And they're like, you're the third guy who showed up that can't fit this in his ride. And I'm just like, what's exactly? It's bought by UPS. They seem like they should be very logistical, but I don't know.
Clearly, there's some disconnection here because, I mean, UPS is like the logistical. I mean, that's all they do is they know what fits and what. So hopefully they clean that up. Kim throws in saying, "Hey, listen, Rodeo should pay more." But reviews and how-tos did pretty well with Rodeo. 25 miles, $117. I will take that. Not bad at all, actually. I'm gonna look up Mothership for a second. Mothership Carrier. Is this another business to business delivery?
Mothership's an app.
Oh, it's like an appy app. Okay,
yeah,
like look at it real quick.
Veho, Freight, Curry, Mothership, they're all apps. But like then there's like dropoff.com and there's so many like last mile service ones, you guys, that in the medical space too, that I haven't even touched into the medical, but I think I'm willing to.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we're gonna look at some websites that I looked at that I'm actually gonna be applying and see if I can move some tissue.
Yeah, I mean, as long I mean, I don't know. I think they're doing it in a pretty safe environment, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
also, Mothership is app. Instant payout. Well, hopefully it does. Yeah, the whole.
I mean, well, that's the thing about Curry too. When you finish a drive, if you do 2, 3, 4, 5 in a day, like I have been this summer, you get paid at the end of every one. Not even the end of a day. You're paid at the end of every job you do.
Yeah. My shipments on demand, local loads. Look and see what vehicles do they allow. Do you know that?
I think they allow everything too. Okay. They're just getting to us right now.
Let's see. For partner carriers, they want straight or box trucks. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's for their route people.
Oh, for the route people. Okay, so this is something a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well, this one is a little bit more involved. They want your pyramid.
Well, you got to have you got to have a dot and all that. That's the same thing with Curry. You got to have that if you're doing routes. You don't have to do it for hotshot runs.
Gotcha.
So with all these companies, they're all going to have like a route. They're all going to have like. I saw something that I sent to Gary this weekend. I thought was really weird. Was Curry sent me a drive this truck from here to B for $150 or whatever, but it was taking me 60 miles away from Denver. And then I was like, but then what? And then it had you can get a rideshare ride back.
Nice.
And I was thinking, wait a minute. So you can pay me like $150 to go take this truck, drop it off, and then I get a free rideshare ride home.
Can't complain about that.
I mean, it reminded me of Draver. Isn't that what Draver does, kind of, or something?
Yeah, Draver, and they take care of you. I remember UDM. was able to do a gig, and they paid for a flight or something to go back. Yes, I mean, it's interesting that what other companies are willing to do to help, right? And then when you deal with other companies, and like, wow, this is so bad. Like, they're not helping me at all, or support is terrible. These other companies kind of give you a sense of, there's relief. Like, hey, not every company is trash. You know what I mean? Like, there's people who, they're going to take care of you. That makes makes some sense.
Yeah, and obviously too, like, I think nobody has to be we don't have to be all geniuses and rocket scientists to realize that there's a lot of money behind these orders.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you better be getting paid well, because you can see the money behind them when you do these.
Right.
I mean, you just, in fact, you'll see paperwork with Courier. I can tell you for sure, you'll see paperwork where you see how much they're making and stuff. And at least you're being paid to a point where you're not like, man, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's a fair, you got paid fairly for what you've been asked to do.
Yeah. Respectfully, for sure.
Yeah. I didn't put in point pickup. I have it. I've probably been on. I've never received anything from point pickup. It's probably, obviously depends on where you are, but I know reviews and how to's put that in. Steve, are you familiar with point pickup at all?
Yeah, I never did it. I can't remember why. I think about the time it was coming around here, everybody was like already had given up on it. I felt like, or all the people that we talked to and stuff were already like, they were looking into it, and everybody's like, oh man, you can't make any money on that. And I felt like, okay, well, I'm not even going to try then.
It's all based on where you are. Like, so all the apps and all the websites, there are some that may not be for you because they may not be in your area yet. It may just launch your area, but look at everything. Look, they tell you, by signing up where they need drivers. And if you're in the area, you got it. If you're not, there's another site that you could check out. So, for instance, freight, I don't think it's with me, but I'm sure VO, Bungie, I don't have a pickup truck, but I have an SUV, and it said SUV with a trailer. You never know. You know what I mean? If it's worth it, I wouldn't mind checking that out.
I see Lisa says she's not a fan of point pickup either. And I didn't know she had done point pickup, but so that leads me to believe she has done one or two.
Yeah, I'd never even, I've seen some offers, but either too far, and the other apps were, popping up at the time. So like if you're doing well with the other apps, and point pickup is telling you to go somewhere far, that never happened. And I guess I just stopped turning the app on myself. So it may be actually some decent stuff. Actually, there's a good comment right here. Gig Media with the Gig Geezer. Check out his channel. I know he has a YouTube channel. Point pickup, lots of bots snatching any decent paying orders in my market. It sounds like another app that sometimes you talk about, Steve. Bots snatching up good orders, leaving them the bad ones for you so you get upset.
I don't even know if it's bots anymore. If they just like learn that, like we know market to market, they just learn certain markets will take crappy orders.
I think literally, my market, I think people are taking them. But
I know they are.
People are grabbing them really fast.
Yeah, I mean, people are taking the worst offers in my market. And I told Bud Soda on Sunday came into the live, and he was really, him and Holly were both getting under my feathers, and I said, hey, I'll do it. I'll do Instacart. You guys pick like 2-3 shifts. I'll like literally go live and ask you, should I take this or not? We'll see how, because I mean, like, maybe my standards are a little bit different, but I think they get way better offers than I ever see.
Yeah.
And I think they'll be very surprised to see what I get.
Yeah. Bud Soda, he puts a lot of effort in find the kind of offers that's worth it for him. But like, if it's not working for you, it's not working for you. Because I know you in that area. I don't think I've seen Tony take any Instacart
Tony doesn't
orders.
do them either. Yeah.
And also Van. I never see him talking about it. Yeah. So I think it's just, for some reason, you guys don't.
Ron doesn't do it.
You guys don't order groceries. You guys go to the store. Like, I don't know. Like, here it's probably pretty strong. I still think people here probably getting underpaid. But if I want to order Instacart groceries, and all I have to do is the simple 20% tip, I will get my groceries within 2 hours. Like, someone's gonna grab that really fast and get the stuff, and I'm sure I'm getting my tip groceries is probably right in the same car with no tip groceries, but I'll get it pretty quickly because so many people on that app grab them as fast as they can and probably being underpaid.
I mean, Tony right there says I'll do Ship and Spark. Yeah, both those are big in Colorado. So
yeah,
and I do pretty well when I do Shipped. Not as well as I used to, but all the apps aren't as well as I used to. So, but yeah, I mean, Instacart just seems very junk here to even Shipped and Spark. I can go make money on those, but I can't make any money on Instacart. In fact, I would be losing money to do Instacart here.
Yeah, I'm looking through the chat. Not a lot of love for point pickup. I realized that. It said reviews and how to's. He said point pickup is good during Black Friday, delivering TVs all day for $25. That's not bad. I mean, these TVs aren't as heavy as they used to be. But yeah, many people are not too thrilled about point pickup. Let's see. Did we go through all like the major apps? I guess now we go to some of these websites. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, there's one that someone was talking about in the chat. I'm gonna pop it in right now. Called Go Share. Are you familiar with this one, Steve?
I feel like I mean, maybe I need to see it.
Let me show. I'm gonna show you right now.
Because I saw it too, and I thought maybe Go Puff went into my head, but I was like,
no,
Go Share.
I've never heard too many good things about Go Puff either. But yeah, so I wonder if this truck. Yeah, let me see. Drivers, your friend with a truck. Let's see, apply. Let's see what you need to do this. Let me just look real quick.
It looked like it was their branded trucks.
Yeah, I think if you want, I gotta look at the qualification. I think if you want to get something taken care of, let's see. Yeah, frequently asked questions. I've seen a few videos about this. Let's see. It's definitely last mile stuff. Let's see. You can still apply if you have an SUV, a minivan. So it looks like something you need a little bit of a bigger vehicle. You may qualify for courier gigs.
Small the top one asks, how do I sign up too?
Yeah, and let's see. Yeah, well, they say on there that you can get it. Let's see how much you earn. So they have a nice infographic here. So
you got to dig on these sites sometimes. You don't get thrown off if you see right away you see a big moving truck in a truck. They do make it look like, hey, we only do trucks sometimes, but you got to dig deeper on these.
Good point. Very good point. Hopefully this is you guys able to see it. Let me know if I need to make it bigger.
I mean, because that's a good average pay down there for just cars, SUVs, and minivans.
Yeah, so pickup truck, you can get $52 to $68 an hour. If you have a cargo van, you're getting up to 102. Box truck, 109. And even with the small cars, SUVs, minivans, $40 an hour. And if you're a big business baller, you got a fleet, you can really take it to the next level. I'm wondering if it's available. I think it's available nationwide, actually. And it actually have, was it Hot Shot, Last Mile, Middle Mile?
Yeah. So Hot Shot is like a one-off run. That's like you're gonna do one job.
Yeah. What's LTL shipping? What is that? You know that? I could click it and see what it does.
Less than truckload.
Less than truckload. So that's okay. Well, I guess you probably got still something. A van, I'm assuming, right? Something that you still.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, all of these websites are going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger too. I mean, there's just not just supply chain issues. There's trucker issues. There's all kinds of issues, and these were growing before these issues were getting as big as they are. So these last mile services seem to be something that most gig workers won't tap or haven't tapped into. And maybe it's just because they're just not sold on how like, really, I can do that too. Like, yeah, you can. Yes, you can. It really, I mean, it does take that step, and you are going to be stepping outside of what because most people don't have a lot of. Because if you ask around, you're probably not going to get a lot of people who have a lot of experience.
True.
But if you're willing to take that step, you can make a lot more money.
It's definitely is a comfort zone that you're going to have to remove yourself from if you're going to take on these other types of gigs, because they're not as simple as you turn an app and you pick up from a restaurant that you're already familiar with, in a neighborhood you're probably familiar with. It's a lot of you're familiar with all the aspects of ride share and food delivery. But with what we're talking about here, yeah, it's more like you said earlier, it's gonna be more involved, right? You have to put more obviously emphasis on making sure what you're delivering is secure, making sure you know exactly what's going on. Depends on what the load is. But if you put a little bit more effort, right, which I'm sure everyone can do, and you will be in a better position than most of us, because most of us are not going to go on these websites. They're not going to bother. They'll be like, I don't want to lift up 50 pounds. I don't want to do that. I just want to turn on the app and go pick up the same old stuff. So if I think if you put a little bit more effort and some research, like what Steve said, like you know when you went to that website, you see a big 25-foot thing, you're like, I guess I'm not gonna be interested. But you dig a little deeper, you can find that no, they do take cars. And if they're in a market that is jumping into, you're going to get picked up immediately because they need business to keep things moving on as I'm sure, like all these other companies want to do, they want to expand their marketplace. So
it's like Curry this summer. I think that Curry, in my market anyway, they expected the volume and demand to somewhat meet the drivers that we had in Denver. And then they realized, wait, with gas prices and everything, not as many of the trucks that we had kind of counted into this how it's going to play out, they're not all working. So we need to start passing more stuff to cars and vans and SUVs. And they started kicking it down the line a little bit. I just think that's how last mile is going. I think that if the people who have the super high mileage trucks and stuff, they're not going to be bringing them out unless you're paying them just so much money. So I think there's a fight to be had, even if you just have a car, a van. I mean, an older van, an SUV like Hannibal or I do. I think that all of these are worth pursuing.
So it's kind of like a trickle down effect, right? Like you're saying, like the major trucks, especially many more independent contractors, are not going to move their truck unless it's worth their while. Where we can kind of be that middle ground where we can say, well, we'll try it or we'll move some of this stuff. Can't be obviously this load of an entire truck, but that there is some level of opportunity if you seek the opportunity and take advantage of it. So there's two websites that I'm gonna check out because the ones that you gave me, and I've seen both of them on a lot of websites. The one website, or at least two YouTubers I'll recommend that has more deeper detail on exactly at least one. Tavares Little, and I'll put the links in these in the description. He has a truck. He's doing it every day. He's doing pretty well, and just general information, but a lot of information. Sean in Town. These two have a lot of information. I think Sean in Town has a course on how to even start that. So
he's got all kinds of random videos too that are all good too. He's got like how to buy a house for 5 or 10 grand.
Yeah. Like it's like And I think Tavares does consulting. So like if you're interested in starting your own business, but you have your truck or your van, stuff like that, you hit him up and he can kind of tell you what to look for, what kind of loads you should be applying for, how much you should be charging. A lot of stuff that's real deep detail. I know for some of the stuff I'm going to be applying to, I'm still going to just use my SUV. I'm not going to go too crazy. I mean, I would love to rent a van just to see how far I can go. Like just one day have Curry and just put in like, no, I don't have the SUV. I got the van, and see what offers pop up and make it seem like if it's something worth it, I'm like, hey, maybe I should invest into a van. So I think when you want to separate yourself from most of the population of gig drivers, upgrading or getting a bigger vehicle will put you up there. But again, that's the cost of you having a whole new vehicle. So let me look at this website that you showed me. Is it, was it AEX Group? What is this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it up so everyone can.
So I see that Gig Media with the Gig Geezer said many of these apps are good in the beginning. Once they catch, then they are saturated. See, that's what I don't think it does happen with these apps, though. Like, yeah, Curry gets saturated, and what do? They close down the gates on letting drivers in.
Yeah, Tony is still looking to get in, Steve.
That's my point. You know, like look. So what do? They do the right things on these apps. They close them down and say, no, we need trusted people that we know will get the job done. We're not looking to have a high churn rate.
Yeah.
So they care more about like, are the people on the apps reliable? And if so, if there's enough in the area, they don't want more.
Yeah.
But then again, a lot of these websites always have jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for as much as all of these gig workers and all of us are out there fighting over these little tiny offers to go deliver, and I get it. It's a little less, mind. You don't have to wrap your mind around it so much. But I mean, for as much as we compete for like minimal pay offers, there's some like huge paying offers out there that just don't even get taken. Nobody's seeing them. Like on sites like this, people don't look this stuff up.
No, because and I understand the argument why for most of us. I think people who are watching these videos, who are in the chat, they are putting more effort in looking, but most don't, because the big app companies have millions of dollars to advertise. We all know who Uber is. We all know what DoorDash is and Instacart, because they, a lot of these companies sponsor sporting events. They sponsor all types of things. The advertisements are all over the place, plastered all over the, our world. So these other smaller businesses that are paying fair wages for what they're asking you don't get any run, and you have to put some effort in to look. And like for this one right here, AEX Group, they're not nationwide. They have there's locations, but these locations that they are accepting drivers right now. So if you're in the East Coast area, you're in Maryland, you're in Washington D.C., they got some Jersey, they got Virginia.
Or even if you're in those metro areas, if you live 20 miles from Philly, it's worth clicking the Philly offers on this.
Yeah.
Because again, you're not looking for, what's a job that's a mile away. You might have to drive 15, 20 miles, but the payouts can be so much different.
Yeah. And it's the same thing, last mile delivery. Obviously they pay you weekly. Let's see what kind of car they're asking for. There is no vehicle type needed. So as long as you got something.
Right. So with websites like this, if you are in those areas and you sign up, they do get back to you and they will have work for you.
So they have different types of deliveries: on demand, dedicated, time sensitive, and home deliveries. So you got a little bit of everything over here too.
Yeah.
Just check out the website.
It's in these websites that don't have the apps, they're the same thing, you guys. They're just, if anything, you kind of go through a little bit of a background on you. You give them some information. They might run it even through the same type systems that the apps do to run a quick background, but then that's it. They're gonna put you on. They don't have an app. You're just gonna log in through the website.
I don't remember if I seen one of these courier websites where they're like, okay, we actually need you to do a drug test, and I was like, well, I'm out. But I forgot that one that I saw. I was like, all right, hey, I understand. You need to make sure everyone knows, doing their thing. But like, I'm out. So this is the next one that you showed me, and I've seen this on a couple of YouTube videos. Drop off. So this is basically like, so many of the same services are out there, and everyone still has the same couple of apps, but there's so many other places you can do the same thing you were just talking about earlier.
I think that some of the apps that care about like drug test background checks that go way deeper are when you're doing direct work with hospitals.
That does make sense. Fair enough.
And so there's still one-off stuff where you are working with hospitals, but they don't care. You're still taking some things. They don't really care, though. You're not really part of their system. But if you run into a website like Drop-Off that is pretty much medical based, you might find more of a background check and more things needed. But some people might even be willing to go to those ends, though. I don't know, because those usually things like that means better pay too. I mean, the more hoops you have, let's be honest, the more hoops you have to jump through, the better the pay. So.
That is true. So they got another one here. Drop off. Let's see if there's anything particularly different. It's the packages, obviously. You get paid by delivery, and you drive your own vehicle. Let's see what requirements. Let's see. Yep. Just make sure you have a car, SUV, or a van less than 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And good to go.
I mean, you got to realize a lot of these locations, you guys, they're getting stuff dumped at like we have a plumbing supply place that I go to for a lot for curry. And they have pickups that leave and go do daily routes. They don't have nearly enough. I could just go. I feel like I could keep going back there without the Curry app because I've got to know the guys a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like I could just walk in the door and be like, "You need anything?" And they'd be like, "Dude, $100. Can you take this here?"
That's one of the most important things I think I've heard when I was talking to the Tavares about his business and what he was doing. He was saying the most important part is communicating with the people that he is interacting with all the time or every day. Like, it's not him just like, again, going back to food delivery, put the food down. You don't want to talk to anyone. You want to get that contactless delivery because you don't want to say anything to anybody. But if you're trying to expand your business, you want to present yourself as someone who is personable and who's willing to be, obviously helpful. And because it's all about personalities. If someone has a great personality and is a great worker, that's a win-win. But if you're a great worker, but if you're not the most social, then I may not ask you to do another favor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't, because either it's a standoffish thing or you're just out about your work. But when you're able to be social, opportunities do come around.
Yeah, and you see a lot of the same people at these places time after. Like if I go to the plumbing place, I see the same foreman every time.
Yeah.
He's right there on the loading dock every time.
The driver dad said he doesn't do drugs. Good job. Drugs are bad.
But I mean, yeah, but all of the
too.
testings aside, like all the ones that don't test out there still pay ridiculous amounts. These jobs aren't getting taken.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not enough people doing these.
Sarah says she's high on life, which is good. You want to be high on life. I think drop off is one of the first, I guess, medical courier because they deliver they pick up from American Red Cross, LabCorp. So I guess you are picking up from some of these places. So I guess we could jump into some of the medical courier stuff.
I feel like one of them too. Maybe it was, no, it wasn't Bungie. Maybe it was the AEX group. But like when you go to their page and you landing page, it has DoorDash and like some of the other companies like that on there. I was like, what is this about?
Oh, interesting.
I thought it was.
You're gonna be able to get a little bit of everything. There's one website that I've seen a few times. Let me see if I can remember that. Did I spell it correctly? Yes, cbddriver.com.
Uh-huh.
So this is independent contracting work, and you just type in where you are. They'll ask what kind of they need you for, what kind of car, what kind of vehicle they need. So I'm gonna put in my zip code and see what they have available around my neck of the woods. Brooklyn. Okay, so right now. Yeah, let's see. They need so so this is basically, it's kind of like an Indeed. Like you can just pop in and see what's available, and then you look at the details, you apply for it. So right now, if I had a box truck, I get a job. Car, minivan, and SUV right here. Just go to that's Woodside, and that's kind of like Queens. Cargo van to go to the city. So right here, I'm typing in my location. And let's say, for instance, I wanted to do this. Let me see how we'll go to details and see what they're asking for. We need drivers with cars. That's me.
Yep.
Scheduled to work at JFK. So I'm going to the airport 2 to 10, 4 to 7 hours, depending on the route. Must have COVID vaccinated. Oh, all right. Good. Nothing wrong with that. They don't have to pay though. So you guys probably have to do more search. But yeah, CBD driver. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos talking about this website. where you get this contract, and what happens if you do a good job, make great relationships, they will contact you to come back. That's the one thing is extremely important. It's not just a one-off. Like if you did a good job doing this, why would they put another job for someone else to take if you do the job well? So I would definitely encourage you guys to check out CBD Driver. Have you checked out this website at all, Steve?
No.
Yeah, look at that. Even you're learning something new.
Yeah. I was just looking at reviews and how-tos. More people now use marijuana than cigarettes, and I was thinking that we have our governor Jared Polis is running right now, and I was thinking about his TV ad that I saw that said, "I won't tell you who you can marry." Well, of course you won't, and because he's gay,
okay.
So he would be quite the.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
He'd be quite the ass if he did.
It's like that came out of nowhere.
So of course he's gonna say that, and he's got like 3 points right now. But the middle point, he says, "I will never come to your house and arrest you for smoking pot."
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, since it's been legal here for 12 years, I would assume you wouldn't.
Yeah, you gotta continue that. I mean, that's the one thing I think people are probably not having a problem with. I like this website. It says, unlike other job sites that have ad listings for thousands of different types of jobs and positions, CBD Driver is focused on one thing: courier driver job opportunities. So, they're basically addressing independent contracting driving. So, and you also sign up, they email you alerts if new ads are posted near you. And if you have any kind of car, you can probably get in. And they let you know right now, a driver contract job is a 1099. So I think it's a pretty good website, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's, a lot of the medical ones you are gonna have that, are you current vaccinated too? Not did you get vax? We don't need to get into all that, but are you up to date with your vax? And I mean, I think there's a lot of us that aren't going to go to those kind of extents to make sure that we're meeting those kind of requirements, but there might be some out there who would. I don't know. I happen to think that there's enough good paying ones out there that you can earn without having to jump through those hoops, in which case I would prefer.
Everyone has their own thoughts on that, in terms of what are you willing to do to get the kind of contracts that drivers that, that you're interested in. So it's, a lot of these places have different laws. So that's why I know a lot of medical, the courier stuff, that there's certain qualifications and certifications you may need to pick up certain things, but every law in different states, is different. So you have to know exactly. I'm sure once you apply, they'll let you know, well, you need this and this and that, or you can't get this position. So research is important, obviously, but a lot of stuff I think is pretty basic. And like I said, you may have to have some vaccination or some drug test, but I don't think it's all of them, especially the ones we talked about earlier. You don't need any of that stuff. I'm assuming, right? Curry and the other like freight. I doubt that they're going to ask, like, can you just get this paint over to this place right now, please?
No, even a dot test here in Colorado. So to be able to drive commercial trucks, or like, even that test isn't a drug test. They're checking to make sure that your kidneys are okay, things like that. They really aren't. They don't care about the drug part. That's nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
it's more about your health.
Makes sense. And another one I looked at here is Priority Dispatch. Its headquarters is in Ohio. So I guess they're in the Midwesty area. I'm just going to see what other stuff they have. So they got employment opportunities and independent contractors. So they're a little bit of everything over here. Let's see the current opportunities. Let's see if I can. Let's see, they got my spot. So they got Illinois, Kentucky, Michigan. Shout out to Steve. Ohio, obviously, and PA. So I'm out. But if you're in these areas where they're looking for, say, Columbus, Ohio, they're looking for a medical delivery driver. Got the minivan owner operator. Dayton, they want a pharmaceutical delivery driver. So they're definitely going to make sure they probably drug test your ass for that. You walk around.
I mean, here in Denver, they have, we have marijuana delivery drivers. So
yeah. No, listen.
They
I
absolutely
don't think they
don't
would
drug
ever
test for
listen.
that
You gotta be a
one.
real
So
piece of crap to steal someone else's weed. Like weed smokers, weed smokers that I know, we make sure everyone's good. Like we don't go our way to steal someone else's weed because it's against the code. I don't know. Just
I'm
throwing
just
it out
saying
there.
that we probably can guess most of those delivery drivers are smoking too. So
Yeah. I'm lost. Why do you need to do drugs to qualify for the wait? Different mom. I
you
think you
don't.
gotta.
You don't.
Got, I think
There's
he's,
no job that we know of where
I
you
think she's
need to
funnier
do
than
drugs.
Tony. I think. Yeah, Tony, you gotta get some jokes. You need her to write some of your jokes, man. That was pretty funny. Exactly, Brian. Yeah, we do have a code. Like we don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that.
Right, but you still need to go get certified. You need to have credentials to be able to deliver.
Yeah.
Here in Colorado, so you still have to go get those credentials.
Yeah, but check out if you guys are in this area, check it out. I mean, it doesn't hurt just to spend a few minutes researching this stuff. I'm just going through a bunch. There's just so many websites. I'm gonna have to put a whole.
I was gonna
list
say
together.
if you go to Google and you type in courier services in your city, you're gonna be bombarded with websites.
Yeah, it could be a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
But you do, you spend an hour just going on the computer, get a notepad or your phone, just write a few websites. And if one sounds really good, try it out. Right. And again, you can still mess around with the other apps. I think the goal, at least for me, and my channel, I'm sure it's, you maybe feel the same way, Steve. You want everyone to maximize their potential. There's a ceiling for the main apps that it's hard to break through, but if we're able to do other gigs and have the other apps as a backup, that's the most ideal situation.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, stuff like this, you're usually setting it's set too. It's not like, hey, I mean, a lot of it is, hey, we need this delivered right now to here, but it might be like the next morning you're setting up or the next afternoon. So this is where it becomes your business because you're actually setting a time. You're going to be blocked off, but you're going to make enough money that you don't need to worry about that. Like, oh, well, now I can't work this time. Well, you don't need to because you're going to make more money doing this.
Exactly. So there's one more. Well, I want to check out this one real quick. It's called Associated Couriers. And I just want to see what kind of, or where they located, see if I wanted to. Let's see. Contractor opportunities. And if you own a good condition late model car, pickup, minivan, SUV, cargo van, sprinter, or box truck, you can get on this. Let's see. Let's see. Up there, just apply. But I'm wondering if it's available in my area. I don't see that.
See, I'm starting to think they're all going to be available in every. Oh, there was a lot of.
Okay, so yeah, it's more East Coast, but they got Boston in there. I see. They're definitely in Florida. I see a little pockets here and there. Definitely seems like they got one half of the country.
Well, but that's the thing is you'll find another courier service that doesn't hit any of these cities.
Yeah, they got a little bit of everything from Atlanta, Georgia to Jersey to Tennessee. I see a little good amount of Tennessee. I see Nebraska. So yeah, a little bit of everything. I'll definitely check this one out as well because you can use any car, then ask in any kind of vehicle. And again, you're looking at opportunities that most people are not going to take because they don't know. Like you said, they just don't know. If you don't know, then you can take advantage.
And a lot of gig workers that land on a website that looks like that is probably going to be scared away. Like, well, this isn't me, dude. This is not me at all. What is this?
Yeah.
You might even think like 18-wheeler trucker hauling,
Yeah, but you got to kind of push through the uncomfortability of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That even, you might even think it's just trucks, but just look a little deeper. You'll see it's cars and and they're really just, they're short on people. They might not love having cars doing their work, but they'll take them right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at one more I saw. You showed me a video that had like 10 websites.
Yeah. It was like the top 10 medical courier ones too. And I thought, he did a good job breaking them down.
Yeah, I mean,
some of them we even talked about drop off. He talks about in there, and
one that's I'm trying to get the website to go on. Let me see. It just says medicalcouriers.com. I'm like, I guess that goes straight to the point. And let me see if I can pop this on. But yeah, there's you could tell like so much opportunity. Like I'm going through it right now talking to you about it. There's a lot of opportunity out here.
Yeah. I mean, and it's literally, I mean, it is the kind of dive where, like Hannibal said, it's going to be overwhelming if you just Google it for couriers for Denver. That's going to be a tough Google search there.
Yeah, this one is legit, medical courier. You're going to be carrying specimens, cryogenic transport. You can transport blood, that type of thing. And they serve labs, hospitals, and pharmacies. So I'm sure. I'm trying to see if I can find how to apply. It's based in California. This website in particular. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out where I go to apply. But I'm assuming you don't need something ridiculously huge to deliver this stuff. So
no, another thing to remember too is a lot of these, if you land on one of these ones that you feel good about, the website is probably to look through it anyway, because a lot of times they'll outsource you to another company or like refer you like, hey, we don't service that area, but you know who does? And it'll be like a sister company of theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely check out this website. It's a bit not the best navigation, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally hundreds. I mean, I could there's thousands, there's tens of thousands, but you and I could put together a list of 200 overnight.
Gotcha. And everything we'll be discussing, I'm gonna put all in links. Like, nothing is affiliated link. It's all goes straight to the websites. Apply, do some folk call and ask questions. I know it's old school and none of us like to do, we don't like to use a phone. Call. You can email as well, but calling, you'll get an answer quicker. Hey, do you guys need independent, you need drivers? Or am I wasting my time? They'll let you know, we actually do. Take an extra step, just a few extra steps than the average person, and you will see what they say. I mean, they're literally putting out on what's the last one we saw? It was a dropoff.com where they're like literally saying, hey, listen, you're gonna make up to this much money with your car or with your truck or with your pickup truck. Like, is that better than probably Instacart? Yeah, I think so.
Especially like me with curry, like I'll make a whole day's worth of curry out of just 2 or 3 runs. I'm just doing, and again, that's going to take up a lot of time. It's not quite as easy as, it's not like DoorDash. It's not like just taking some food real quick, and there's more to it. So it's a lot more in my day, but I make a lot more in a day than I would like being stressed out working the apps doing 100 orders.
Yeah. Mom, good point. Definitely need to step outside your comfort zone if you want to diversify your income. Actually, I never asked you, how did you discover curry in the first place? Were you researching stuff, or somebody contact you? Like, how did you get across or come across curry?
No, I just I think that oddly, and I don't watch it. Sorry, Harry, I don't mean this bad. I don't watch his videos, man, but Harry's a friend of mine, but I happened to catch the one he did on Handy.
I'm aware of that one, yeah.
Handy's now sold out to somebody else. But Handy was a worker site, and then somehow it led me to see this curry one, and I did it, and then I ended up contacting curry because I got on the app and was liking it, and then I got sponsored by him, so I did a lot of heavy work with them for like 4 months.
Yeah,
really got to know everybody on their team. I got to know a lot about the last mile services, and that's what kind of got me, I think, sticking around with curry until it got to such a great place in my market too. But, again, like for other people, it might not be curry. It might be freight. It might be mothership. It might be some of these other ones that have more of the things in your market. So get signed. I would say that right out of the gate, get signed up for curry, mothership, carrier, VHO, and freight right out of the gate. because those are 4 apps that are going to pay you better than any of the apps you're using right now.
And driving with Tide throughout a few XL Courier, Ship. I'm very familiar with Ship.
Yep.
And a Go US Pack if people are interested. So yeah, definitely. I would try, if I remember. Hopefully, I'll put those links in there too. Because yeah, Ship. I've seen a few drivers. Every once in a while, I'll see them delivering stuff.
I feel like Ship was more like a route. Maybe I'm wrong. It was like Amazon Flex.
Yeah, usually you'll get some packages, some letters, or some kind of it's something that like every once
it's
in a while.
You're committing to something more than a single delivery, though. I think.
Yeah. They'll have a bunch, and usually they'll have like their SUVs, but they'll have like a sticker that the L and the S there. But yeah, I would equate it to an Amazon Flex deal. I'm not going to try to pronounce your name because I can't. But I appreciate you checking out the channel. I know you've been here since the very start. To buy right now a cargo van for these apps and courier companies is not good right now. You'll lose money. Lots of people already did. What's your thoughts on that, Steve? Do you think if I say, hey, Steve, I there's so many websites here. I think I'm gonna buy a van and really see if this works. What would you tell me?
I would say, have you done any courier yet with your car? Because I would tell everybody, if there's nothing you can do in the vehicle you have right now, it's probably not worth upgrading in your market to see how you're going to do. Because Hannibal and I are saying, even right now, you can have a car, and yeah, on courier you might not get as many orders as me in an SUV, but still you're going to get some orders. You can go to these websites, you're going to get some orders or get some work you can do. But if you can't find any work with a car that you already have, it's probably not, again, like market specific. It's probably not in your market to go out of your way and upgrade your vehicle. Like me, I feel like I get enough courier where if I really wanted to, I could go maybe swap my car out for a van right now. Right. It might actually, in my scenario, might be worth it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go do it because I kind of agree with that comment that I think right now is not a great time to go be like like rolling the dice on a van.
Right.
And I'm doing good enough without it where I don't need to, but if I saw it for sure, if I could see through everything and see, oh my gosh, I'm going to make that much more. Or if I could just talk to a few more people, it's like, and that just comes with doing these jobs too. You run into other people who do it. See if they have a van, ask them. Yeah. Because, if I could find out for sure from a handful of people in this area, dude, I'm killing it with a van now. Here's the difference. Here's what I make on this, and this app. I'll be able to compare and say, well, yeah, okay, that's what I was hoping. I'm going to go get a van.
Yeah, I think that you would not want to just jump in with no experience or no work. Like you said, have you done any courier work already? Yeah. You would want to do well in your car, and like you said, see the potential of, if I had a van, I would make this much more because I'm already doing well with the car. Because it is an investment, and I know a lot of us we say it's a business, but when you invest in a van, that's a really big investment on your business. So to protect yourself, you would want to put as much research as possible. Okay, like you said, finding people who are doing using a van, how well they're doing, how well you're doing with the car. If you're killing with the car, do you need to upgrade? But it's possible you make more money upgrading. I mean, I've seen some videos. Some people are making $500 a day with their van. It's possible.
Like I'll point out, like on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, for instance, Curry has a website or a page or a group or whatever it is that's like got a ton of people in it. It's got like 30,000 in it. And those people can answer any question immediately. I live in this market. What is Curry paying you for van trips? And this is not run by, even though it's a Curry thing, it's not run by Curry. There's a lot of groups, but there's one that's very legit. And everybody in that Facebook group will answer you right away.
Right.
And you'll get legitimate answers too. It's not as weird as Facebook can be. These groups and pages can be really good. And this is one that is really good. They'll give you a straight answer. They'll tell you if you're going to make any money on it. Yeah. So there is some, you don't have to go track down people with vans. There are other ways, but you might, again, I would do all these deep dives before, and I would make sure I've done some courier work before I go down the rabbit hole of upgrading any vehicle, because there is work without any upgrade at all. You could have a Prius and there's work. So if there's not work, I'd be a little more skeptical.
Yeah. Carlos Miller says, I'm making money with my cargo van. Awesome. I actually was at Home Depot earlier buying some stuff, and I'm not sure if this happens in all Home Depots or Lowe's around the country, but I know mine's, there's usually a few people just chilling with their vans, waiting for people to come out and say, hey, do you need me to, drive this stuff to your house? And you pay them a few bucks.
Sure.
But I know that if they took the opportunity to research that they have a van sitting there, thinking that they can get $50 or $75 to, on the off chance, because they're just hanging out outside of the Home Depot, waiting for someone to, to come out with a bunch of crap and, they can get help. But they have a van. They could be making so much more money if they decided to do some research and get on one of these companies while they have a van sitting there. But it's all about access to the information. Are you trying to access information? Right. That's the biggest obstacle.
Yeah, I mean, again, I really think there's so much money to be made, no matter where you are. I think there's so much money to be made in this last mile courier space, and I don't think it's going anywhere either. Like we were talking about, like oversaturation and stuff. If anything, oddly, this is undersaturated.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, honestly, like there's not enough people doing the work. That's why another reason why the pay goes up so high. So it's just, people just aren't quite there yet. Watch, it will be the next thing. It will be the next huge, just like delivering food or anything else. These last mile services are going to get streamlined. They're going to get put into apps. Things are going to get done. And then there's going to be a lot of people on them. So why, but I mean, it could be years down the road. Why not get on it now? There's a lot of money in it, and there's not people doing it.
Yeah, most definitely. ERN says, I know a dasher that became a medical organ donor and he loves it. He drives on runways to drop off organs and get jobs for one state, drops off a few states over sometimes. Yeah. I mean, like I said, how much the pay is. I'll move someone's liver or whatever. I don't care. I don't care. Like whatever it is. And then there's also a sense of like responsibility. Like it's a big deal. Like, okay. You know what I mean? Like those are life-saving, but you're an important part of that cycle, right? Like, you're there. You don't want to move this very important cargo, the most important piece of cargo. Like forget, chicken McNuggets. Like this is a very important thing to the destination. Like, that's pretty cool.
Right. And again, it's not you can't unassign. You can't, if you accept these responsibilities, you got to follow through, or else you're not going to get any more from them.
Yeah.
It's kind of it would be like a one strike deal. Now, if it's not really so much rated, like even on Curry, there's nothing really about the ratings. It's just, what's my completion? My completion's 100%.
Yeah.
I've never had to say, I'm done. I'm not going to do this one in the middle.
Yeah, I made a little poll. I was saying, like, what's the most important thing? Is like your customer rating or your acceptance rate. I know Dash Theory John, he said, no, actually it wasn't him. It was someone, I forgot who said it. But the completion rate is the most important thing. And I was thinking, like, yeah, I would assume that. Like, I don't know if if you were able to combine the customer satisfaction with the completion like thing. Because that is the most important part. Like you accept the job and you're going to go through with it, and you're not a dick to the customer or the merchant.
Exactly.
Like you're not, you know what I mean? They was able to combine those two metrics. Yeah. That would be more important than the fact of what you accepted, what you didn't. Because once you accept it, that's where it starts. Compared to,
or even how they rate you, really. Because we all know that can go in any direction. So that's kind of a worthless metric too.
Yeah. So your most important is the completion rate.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what the last mile apps I know, like Curry, I know for a fact. Curry weighs that into when you say you want to be considered for a round robin pick. That's weighed in there. Like, does he complete his rides? Oh yeah, he's completed all of them. Okay, well I'm at the top of the list now.
Right.
So
because that's the layer. And actually, I think this comment is pretty cool from Ty. I will say this. don't go into last mile with a, I guess, DoorDash mindset. We have a thing called lanes, meaning if a new driver comes in taking low pay, that will bring down the lane price.
See, he knows what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
When I was saying that the courier drivers know not to take that crap. And we just sit back and go, no.
Yeah, in my market, there's, again, the prices will keep moving. They don't grab, they're not grabbing them as fast as like an Instacart where you refresh and it's like, wow, that crap left. All right, well, they move on. And also I was talking to Virus. He was saying like there is some issues though in certain loads where people are undercutting and taking loads for cheap. So it really depends and how desperate or how it's more of a desperateness of certain people that will say, I'll do this for a price that they probably shouldn't. Like they deserve more, but they either are desperate or in a bad spot. You know, we don't want to criticize people who do take low offers, right? Even though we think they are making a mistake, no one knows what position they're in. But even then, that they should at least understand that they can potentially make more money if they hold out a little longer instead of grabbing something really fast.
Yeah. And I would say, like, you know, from everything I've watched too, like from watching all these people who do use these websites a lot, is that they really start weighing themselves. I mean, they start becoming much more, it becomes apparent to them what their worth is.
Right.
Because there's so many services in every city that they can go, you know what? I'm now understanding this. I'm worth this much. And they can start going, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. Yeah. And I know that's what we do on all the apps, but this is at a much higher rate of pay. This is at a much more like you're constructing your schedule. You actually have to have a schedule. You're gonna have to do things exactly on time. There is no really, you know, there's not a lot of wiggle room with that either. You know, it's when they need it done, they need it done.
You learn faster too. Like when you decided to take a shift or a load that really either you wasted your time or you didn't, you learn quickly. It was like, well, I really just wasted a couple hours of my life compared to, you know, with the apps where it's up and down and it's, again, you're familiar with your neighborhood. You're familiar with the restaurants. It's all this, you're already familiar. So sometimes you may be in this haze of, you don't realize how much money you're probably not making. Because you're just, you know, because you're making money. There's things coming in compared to, like I said, a lot of these last mile deliveries where there's a plan in place, and you're getting paid much better. You're not dependent on tips with any of these services that we talked about. The tips.
In fact, I can tell you, I've never been tipped on Curry.
Yeah, it's just you know, it's not something. But again,
I know what I'm being paid though. You know, it's 100% transparent. I know up front what I'm being paid.
Yeah, definitely.
To do what? And yeah.
All right. So I don't know how many different companies we talked about. This is probably the most I ever talked about in one video.
Because it's endless though.
And it's endless. Like I still have, like, there's 10 that you gave me. I think I only put out 3. There's still a bunch. So yeah, there's videos out there, but everything we discuss, I'm going to put in the description below. Hopefully later on tonight if I don't fall asleep, but definitely will be in there. All the apps, all the services. This is when you're really getting into the you know, the meat of independent contracting. Like this is it, where you need to do more legwork. You need to go and check out the websites. You need to ask questions. You may have to experiment, check out one company, see what they do one day, and then try another one. You may not want to invest in a new vehicle, but that's an option if you think, wow, I've been doing pretty well with this app. And I talked to a few people and they say, hey, listen, we got more work for you if you had a van. Like there's more of a business here compared to, you know, Instacart and stuff like that. So,
and driving with Ty was saying earlier that he's an owner operator too. And then his most recent comment said, don't be desperate, sit back and believe that. Yeah, I mean, like this does happen all the time on Curry. You know, they'll try and push through even a big trip or a big order like that. And a 400 does turn into 700. And you'll see this, and it's just the same order. It's the same thing.
Yeah. It's a negotiation, right?
Yeah,
We're just negotiating with a pool of drivers, and if we're all pretty smart and wait that it goes higher and it helps everybody, and that's the thing that it's as much as I'm gonna be talking about Top Dasher tomorrow. There's certain elements of business that many of the top dashers don't seem to understand, or they're just playing the system. I think a lot of it is just playing the system. Mm-hmm. So it's a little different between like real independent contracting, where no one's just grabbing anything. Like you're just not grabbing everything for arbitrary 70% rate to access some orders. It just doesn't work that way. But I understand door dashing and the top dasher thing is, at least the ones that I've talked to or watched, it's more of a game. But with this, it's not necessarily a game here. It's kind of like, okay, I'm here to do the job, pay me fairly, or I'm not going to take it or leave it. And then the company, like at Curry, for instance, is like, okay, we'll add some more money here for someone to take it because we need this delivered. We don't have time to play around with. We're not going to show you all of the like Uber. They were accused of doing. We're not going to show you all the details of this trip because you're not taking enough orders. Like we don't have time for this nonsense because that feels like an employee.
I think what you were saying about Tavares too is very true. The relationships you make are huge. You're going to see these people a lot.
Yeah.
Like if you are on Curry, you're going to see you're going to be going to a lot of the same places often. You're going to go to the same plumbing place. You're going to go to the same Sherman-Williams. You're going to start to get to know these people. Even if not by first name, by face at least, they're going to recognize you.
Yeah. And that's when it's a little different compared to the food delivery because, well, it depends on the area. I know some dashers and, they do Uber Eats and stuff like that. It's like, oh, I see the same person. I don't see the same people because I live in a city of, I forgot how many millions of people here. I doubt I see the same person. But for these situations where you are delivering the same pain or you're delivering with something, you're going to see these people. And if you have a great relationship, opportunities will come out. And I think that's where I would like to really, really emphasize, try to become more social, be nice, especially when you do this kind of work, because the opportunities are endless. And, we took a little bit of the amount of websites to talk about. There's still a lot.
We took like not even 1%.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we exposed people to a good amount of stuff because we moved them from the apps into the websites. But the websites become, you guys can go endless looking at this stuff. It's not like it's endless if you go Denver food delivery apps. It's only going to bring up the ones we know. But if you do Denver last mile courier services, you're going to just have endless opportunity.
Yeah. Driving with Ty. I gotta check out your channel. Bingo, relationships are key. Last year I cut out a middleman. Now I deliver directly to the warehouse, making way more. Yeah, if you come in with a really nice, personable, just you come in really chill, and they may look at the other person they had to deal with like, we don't like that guy. We like this person. We like this, we like this woman.
And you're a business too.
Yeah, everyone.
Don't forget that.
Exactly. Laura. Yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff. But if you would check out from the beginning and at the end, I'm gonna put all the websites, all the apps. They all basically do the same thing. Some have different regulations, but it's last mile stuff.
We saw one that said 120 pounds. Most of them aren't even that. But
I think you think that they put that there just to make sure that, hey, listen, we want you to we'll doubt you have to lift that much, but come and fit enough to do it. Like, because I doubt you're gonna pick up that much. I doubt it.
Yeah. I do that kind of weight with curry, but it's always 15, 20 pieces to make that weight.
Yeah.
So it's like a bunch of 10.
What's up, Let's Play DoorDash? What's going on, buddy? Hopefully you come through tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about the Dasher stuff tomorrow. But yeah, we're going to have all the links down there below. And I forgot to talk about, you could just go on Indeed.com, type in independent contractor, or type in independent driver. I did that a couple days ago.
You can do it on TaskRabbit too.
TaskRabbit, ZipRecruiter, like all these traditional job websites. You put in independent contracting, press enter, you may actually see opportunities. Now, some of them may be a bit sketch, what I've seen on Indeed. A little sketchy, but it's due diligence. You want to research. You want to ask people, have you dealt with this company before? They Glassdoor is still available. Glassdoor rates companies by I think it's a 5-star system. So if you see a company and it's 2.5, I would not work with that company because it sounds like it's pretty bad. So, but yeah, Indeed, I saw stuff, ZipRecruiter, all the job sites. I've seen a few independent contracting jobs.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to any of them and you can even put in last mile service. You can put in courier. You can put in, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of endless. But I would say, if you feel comfortable with apps, I would sign up for every one of the 4: Courier, Mothership, Carrier, Viho, and Freight. And there's a couple others too, but I would do those. And maybe Viho is going to be huge where you are, but the others aren't. I don't know. Mothership Carrier is getting really big. They're like kind of becoming a next Curry. So it might be a really good time to get in with them.
Yeah, what we notice just with going through some of these websites that there's services, companies that me or Steve are not able to apply, but maybe you. So you want to go through all of them, like the few that didn't say Colorado, some that didn't say New York. A lot of them are regional, and that's kind of good too because one of the biggest complaints we have from many of these big companies here, the major hitters, is they expand way too fast, and there's certain things they're either catching up with, or either with logistics in terms of the merchants. Like when you try to cover so much ground, again, because they're trying to get as much of the marketplace, mistakes are happening. Like I think one of the websites we had, it was still a family-owned business. They're going to care more. They're going to put more effort to take care of everybody involved. So these companies be smaller, but you may have a better experience compared to, talking to someone that's overseas and has no idea what you're talking about, because they want to pay people cheap. So they basically everything is overseas, and they what's that term they use? Outsource their customer service.
Well, I mean, the other thing too is you're showing a lot of initiative by going and finding these websites.
Yeah.
It's not like you said, a lot of these, like the family owned ones, like these people don't have apps for a reason. They want to see that you care and that you want to make some money. They're happy to pay you some money. They want to see you want to earn it, and that that you sought them out, that you found them.
Yeah. Well, let's say for instance, someone wanted to actually try these websites out. They want to, expand beyond food delivery and shopping. What would be your first app or website to check out? And obviously it depends on the region.
I would stick with the big ones. I would stick with, Drop Off, or, I would stick with one of the big ones, but I would also, these are people I think mainly going to be moving over from apps. And I would really say, get on those 4 apps first, run a couple courier routes, or do even a couple curries. Even if you're not loving the pay, just do it to understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
And the little bit of logistical differences, because there's going to be paperwork, and sometimes you have to, you're going to be handing it off to somebody. It's not leave it at the door, and it's last minute. So like, if you're going to a construction site, make sure you at least get the foreman on the phone. A lot of times the foreman isn't on site, but I have to I'll get the foreman on the phone, even though Curry says just leave it in the garage of a being built house and take a picture. No, because I have the foreman's number. Why wouldn't I call him?
Gotcha. Definitely.
And say, hey, I'm going to drop this here, but if you have any other kind of directions, let me know. And they've told me other things like, yeah, please don't. I don't know why Curry says that. Don't put it in the garage. If you could do this, I'm like, yeah, happy to.
Yeah. I was going to read this message from Diana. Hi, everyone. I've been a part of this community for a while. I just want to let everyone know that my daughter passed away August 27th. She was 20 years old and died of an asthma attack. Devastated. I'm so sorry.
Oh, my God.
So sorry. Definitely condolences to you and your family. That is rough. That is definitely rough right there. But you have our support. Again, so sorry. It's a little. I mean, we talk about jobs and money, but that's nothing compared to dealing with that, with the death of a loved one, especially your kid. Because I mean. Steve, you have a son. I have a son. it's nothing
I
matters.
can't even imagine.
Yeah, nothing matters when your child passes away. So my condolences, Diana. You know, it really, you know, when you see something like that, it's like, yeah, what are we talking about? We're talking about making money, but man, that's really not that important. But Diana, actually, if you're interested in talking to me, you know, talking to Steve, we'll put our social medias up or emails if you want to talk to someone, obviously, because then I'm sure that's very, very important. Reviews and how to's families number one. Took me a while to learn about that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, that's the reason why we're on these websites. That's why we talk to each other about it. A lot of it, you know, we kind of the bickering that has been going on the last couple of weeks. I mean, I do the same thing you do, Steve. I stopped watching a lot of it. Like I just stopped. Like I think I look at thumbnail and the title, and if it's just a bickering back and forth with nonsense, I don't watch the videos anymore. And I feel a little better about it, to be honest. Yeah. Because you start to realize like this is not really all
healthy. Yeah. It's also not healthy, man.
Yeah, it's just not that important. Like, but when you're in it, like you're in that echo chamber, you're like, yeah, that person is wrong. This person is right. But I started thinking about, what am I doing? I'm standing and, you know, either my son is with me, we're hanging out, or he's doing something, trying to put some Legos together, and I'm on my phone looking at these videos of them. Everyone's yelling at each other or screaming over what? Like for what? Why are we upset again? Like, either you agree or you don't, right? Either you're making money or you're not. It's really, and then if someone else is doing it and they're doing it a different way, all right, cool. Like that's it. Like what else? So why we're going back and forth, and it just felt really it felt political, right? I feel like I'm watching, like I watch a lot of politics. I don't want to watch, I want to do with more politics, if that makes any sense, you know?
Yeah, I mean we're doing it all for what? Because we have families. We're all trying to make more money for our families. So I mean, what she's saying here kind of puts everything in perspective, really.
Yeah, and that happens, like no matter what you go through. You may have like a really crazy stressful day, right? But if something went wrong with your kid, all that is just leaves the brain. Like you could have the worst day, everything will went wrong, but like if your kid needs something or they went through something, it just you don't even care about the day anymore. It went past it, you know. Like you realize it's just your priorities are in a different space. So that's why at least for me, a lot of the last couple of days haven't been watching too much of the back and forths a little bit. I just think I felt a little better because I felt like I was watching the same movie every day, the same TV show. I was like, also it's kind of getting boring too. So, the one website, I think I agree with you. The big ones, right? Like Drop Off, CBDdriver.com. I like that one. Seemed like it was really the fastest, so at least the simplest. You type in your location, what they have, what you need. If it matches, then you continue on and apply and see if they can pick you up. So I like that one a lot too. And like all of them, freight, VO. Well, Bungie, if you have you know, a bigger vehicle, I think Bungie's probably make the most money. But check out all of them. I have all the information in there as well. Diana,
and add to them too.
Was that?
Add to them. Let Hannibal and I know what you guys find out there too.
Yeah, definitely. Just we're gonna put all the information in there. Other than that, I'm not sure what we're gonna talk about next 2 weeks. You have any ideas? Because we still have a name.
We need a name.
Still don't have a name. Is Beyond the Algorithm make sense?
Yeah.
But the problem is we're still talking about stuff that's somewhat with not as much.
No, I mean the website's not really.
No, yeah.
The websites are just they have constant work and people don't take it.
Yeah. That could be a one. I think so.
In fact, I think that is beyond the algorithm because there's not enough people to do it.
Yeah, I think we'll rock with that one. Look at that. Your Coffee in Colorado partner came up with a really good name for this series because, yeah, I think Curry has the algorithm but it's not as manipulative. I mean, there is some level. I mean, obviously they increase the value, but the other ones are so controlling. Like we don't mind an algorithm. I mean, the algorithm is just ones and zeros, ups, inputs and outputs. Like that's how you use anything. All these objects have some level of algorithm, right? But when they become so involved of, you can get deactivated if you don't have a certain percentage and all this other stuff that doesn't involve a person. Like you said, you saw an offer, but you're able to call someone to negotiate. Okay, is it something for me to do going somewhere else? You're not negotiating with DoorDash you're going to send me 10 miles out of the way. Can you make sure that I get something back? They're like, I don't know. If you can.
Right.
If not, good luck.
Actually, they probably just say the honest truth is they don't care. We don't really care. Don't take it.
Fair enough. Yeah, like okay, like we run the show here. Like you're gonna do it or you don't do it. So, I guess we'll come up with some ideas for the next one. But guys, take some time, take an hour of your day, look at some of these websites, look at some of these apps. I think you would be pleasantly surprised on what you can make, and you may not be as and I'm not saying this as negative, but be as dependent on some of the food delivery stuff. And again, this stuff is part-time too. You can still do this and work your 9 to 5. I know many of the people who check out our channels have a 9 to 5. So, I think it'd be definitely a good idea to check these websites out.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a lot of work out there, guys. These apps want you to know nothing about them. The apps want you to know nothing about website work.
Yeah.
Because they really want you to think that you're under that you got to work those. If you want to work in this independent contractor world, you got to work these apps. You don't.
Definitely.
There's tons of options.
More control, more options. Like this, we just told you a few websites right here. Like there's way more. There are way more. Actually, I may just copy and paste everything I have here. The ones that we discussed, but then also the other ones that, just put more effort into it. And I think you guys can do really, really well. So on that note, Steve, I think it was another really fun conversation about.
Yeah, for sure.
Other than
I like this too. I like showing people other things.
Yeah.
I hope that I'm sure it's resonating with some. I hope people are diving into these, like I think they're all worth. We're not just doing this for no reason. I mean, there's ways to make money, and everybody's stressing about these apps. Well, there's other ways to make good money too.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a big deal.
And this 2 hours, almost 2 hours flew by. So yeah, we definitely gonna be back here next 2 weeks with some more opportunities. I don't know if I'm gonna actually do a whole episode on dog walking. I just feel like that'd be so boring. Like we gotta find maybe because I deal with it all the time. Like now I want, but it probably would make sense to talk about it. But that'd be so boring. You guys want to hear about talking dogs?
Well, I sent you that one too. We can always do a week on online jobs, work from home.
Yeah, let's do. You want to do that one?
Yeah, because that's a big one. Because there's lots of good work from home stuff.
Yeah. You know what? Mark it down. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about work from home positions.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would like. I mean, as much as you drive around, pick up stuff, I want a little bit of everything. Work from home, do some outside stuff. So yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that as well. Diana, if you're still in the room, please email me. I'd like to talk to you more about, the situation and everything. So email me if you are still there. I'll put my email in the description below as well. But on that note, guys, you'll see Steve. What the next thing you're doing, Steve, this week?
Thursday.
All right. I'll be there.
Yep.
Yes, I'll be there. Me, you, Kim, Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the guest?
Holly.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
And she's yeah, we're gonna talk about Instacart some because she's got this. Her and Bud Soda have this challenge for me, so we'll see.
She's amazing. She made so many good videos about All In with Ari. That's not gig related at all. So I guess I don't know if we're gonna talk about it, but
well, we're gonna have to because that's how her channel grew.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think she should do the whole investigative internet her thing. Like I don't know, but I know she's a gig worker, but I really like how because it kind of feels like, you know, one of those mystery novels of investigators. They kind of, she's funny, she's easy to talk to. She don't take it herself too seriously, but she broke that whole situation down. So I'm very looking forward to her. And I think I probably talked to her as much as I talked to anyone at the conference, like me and her, like just had full length conversation because she's such a cool person. So can't wait for that. That's gonna be fun. And what am I doing?
You got tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes, we're gonna talk about Top Dasher. I just want to talk, and it's interesting. Kim is going to be on. I interviewed her probably last year, and she was actually trying to be a Top Dasher. So it's interesting. She was trying to experiment way before everybody else was, but she realized it didn't make any sense. So she kind of, didn't do it. But now it's interesting. A year later, she actually became a Top Dasher. So I just want, talk to her and her perspective and how well she's doing with the whole Top Dasher thing. So it should be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think now it's about now forward. We'll start seeing these results.
Wait a minute, Steve. Steve, aren't you gonna be doing something tomorrow?
Oh yeah. Tomorrow. Sorry, on Tony's channel though, on the Driven Dad channel.
Yes.
But yes, coffee in Colorado.
Yes.
It's 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. Because we do it at 10:30 out here. So
yeah, Tony had to let you know. Come on, coffee, Steve, hang it out. It was fun. I like it. You guys, it's a real chill. It's a little bit of everything. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I need to go to Colorado, man. It looks like a beautiful place, man.
Yeah, we got Lisa there to keep us in line, so it's fun.
Fair enough. I know she apparently that joke about the drugs. Apparently, I think Tony trolled her into thinking that you had to take this job, you had to take drugs. So that's why she said, "Why would you need to take drugs to do this job?"
Yeah, I don't know.
No drugs. Drugs are bad. That's the last message I want to put out here. Drugs are bad. So, on that note, guys, have a fantastic night.
Peace.